to deal with the tension alone on their weekends home from boarding school.
So you kind of were entrapped?
Yeah, we were. And I kept thinking, I kept saying to Charles, when we're 16 or when we're 18, we'll get our own lives. That's all I could think about, our own choices.
The wicked stepmother, as she became known, was nicknamed by her stepchildren Acid Rain. And Rain further antagonized Diana, her brother, and sisters by taking control of the Spencer family estate. Diana biographer Andrew Morton.
There's a huge transformation at Althorpe House. Many possessions were sold off, much to the anger of Charles Spencer and Diana, who felt that she was selling off the Spencer heritage built up over a number of centuries, and she was selling silverware, paintings and other objets d'art at knockdown prices just to raise money.
She was a bully and just didn't know how to treat individuals.
Open warfare raged between the Spencer children and Rain, with Earl Spencer caught in the middle. In 1978, he suffered a stroke.
They say, the experts, they say the stroke was brought on by the tension between the 4 children and the stepmother, which is very true, I'm sure.
At the hospital, Diana says Rain guarded him fiercely through his recuperation, even from his own children.
She wouldn't let us see him for about 16 weeks in the hospital.
10 more years of animosity followed, and finally Diana was ready for a showdown. It took place in 1989. On the weekend of her brother Charles's wedding, an event attended by Diana's father, her stepmother, and her estranged mother, Frances.
And my father and stepmother refused to even say hello to my mother. And it got me so angry, the behaviour of these grown-ups, that I ploughed in and screamed at both my stepmother and my father. Said it was very bad manners, they were just indulging in themselves, and this was Charles's day, Victoria's. Do we have to live with the past every time when we walk in the house?
Knowing her mother was deeply hurt, Diana decided to finally unleash the anger she'd held in check since her teenage years. Diana, the Princess of Wales, on deck to be Queen of England, one of the most elegant women in the world, was actually about to get physical.
And my stepmother and I ended up having this row, and I pushed her down the stairs, which gave me enormous satisfaction. My father didn't speak to me for 6 months. I had to go back and say, I love you, Daddy, etc., etc. So it was all very difficult that.
But the arguments with Rain raged on.
I was so angry, I wanted to throttle that stepmother of mine because she brought such grief. And she kept saying to me, oh, but Diana, you're so unhappy in your own marriage. You're just jealous of Daddy's and my relationship. And jealousy was not high on the agenda, it was behaviour I was after. She said, you don't know how much we've suffered because of Francis. I said, suffering, Ray? You don't know the word. I see suffering of such magnitude in my role that you would never even understand. I really spat it out.
Now, how did you spit it out?
I said, we've always hated you. You've ruined our family life. You've done a great job there, Ray. Great job. Made us really unhappy. I hope you're pleased about that.
That sense spilled over after Earl Spencer died in 1992. Diana and Charles Spencer were instrumental in just throwing Rain's clothes out of Althorpe, taking them out of the back of Althorpe in plastic bin bags.
She just very dismissive of Diana. You're so thick. She kept saying, you're so silly. But I've got a lot of other things you've never found out. She will one day.
Diana did more than unburden herself. She gave Sutherland glimpses of her real strength. He knew she could use it to make a powerful statement on stage and in life. The princess realized her strength too, so much so that she made a surprising decision just months after talking with Sutherland. After all the years of turmoil, she decided to extend an olive branch to Rain Spencer.
They had this very emotional lunch at Kensington Palace where Diana said, I want to thank you for looking after Daddy, that's to say Earl Spencer. And they embraced, and Diana cried. And they developed, over time, a very close friendship between Rain Spencer and Diana.
The conversation between Diana and Peter Sutherland had been extremely productive. Now it was time to get to work. Diana was ready to transform herself from retiring royal spouse to formidable public figure.
Rehearsing the art of the interview, we see Diana as Mom.
You've got 2 of the most impossible people sitting here with us.
Harry, shush. Harry, sit
All right,
down.
it's good practice to cope.
Just sit.
A rare glimpse of Diana's life with her boys, When Diana Revealed continues. Is Ann Curry.
11 years after her marriage, Princess Diana was determined to recreate herself. These speech lessons and her intense reflection on her difficult past were guiding her toward the breakthrough that would help her speak to the world. When she was finally able to do that, she didn't just change her image, she changed history. In that first conversation in the fall of 1992, Peter Sedlin had been drawing Diana out, listening as she narrated her own life story, the people and events that she thought had led to the edge of a precipice. Now it was up to Sedlin to help Diana create a new version of herself, the princess as mover and shaker, a well-spoken, independent woman using her fame to change the world.
She really, really wanted to deliver speeches better. I mean, it really mattered to her, especially at the beginning.
But Sedlin had his work cut out for him, as these early practice tapes show.
Attempts to understand
Yes.
the origins of addiction.
Yes. Keep going. Now really...
Diana gave about one speech a month, and Sedlin noticed she often had trouble getting her tongue around the words.
Before we recognise alcohol, oh my God, there's a disease. There is an insidious fear.
Insidious fear, yes.
Insidious fear.
Insidious.
Insidious fear.
The key, Sedlin kept telling her, was simply to be herself, the one they had discovered together. Talk to them, he said, like you talk to me. He urged her to channel the same kind of fury she used to confront her stepmother years before.
The key question.
What?
Key
Come on, get
question.
angry with me.
He'd seen the playful Diana that had charmed millions.
Sorry, question your...
Okay.
Is that thing on? Hello.
Because suddenly...
Now, he told her, to use that same sense of humor to convey her message.
So what can you, in the media, do to help?
What?
Like it or not, I have been quite a provider for the media.
Yes, yeah.
And now I'm asking for your help to reduce the suffering caused by drugs.
Diana didn't always agree with Sedlin's technique, but he kept pushing. The results could be striking.
Get a little angry now with that.
I can't be angry and speak like
Yes,
that.
you can.
No,
Yes, you can. I'll show you.
Okay, well, it'll start to change slightly, won't it? It's going to change. It won't come out quite the same. We must recognize that people who are HIV positive. And it's
for as long as they can. Yet out of ignorance and fear, they are still being forced to leave their jobs.
Smashing.
If we continue to believe that AIDS is someone else's problem, we too could so easily be facing the same devastating destruction.
Week after week, Diana practiced, watched her tapes, and made visible progress.
The more threatened we are, the more we feel.
No, excuse me, the more changes there are, the more threatened we feel.
Right, now carry on like that, yes.
Those who become ensnared in addiction are often highly sensitive and creative people.
In the past 12 years,
The princess was becoming a better speaker. Her former private secretary, Patrick Jephson, recalls, but he wonders what it really meant for her.
She said to me one day, "You know, Patrick, I want to make a real Churchillian speech one day." And I thought, well, that's good, because, heck, you can't do better than emulate Winston Churchill. But what's she going to say? The thing about Winston Churchill was that he usually knew what he was going to say when he made his big Churchillian speeches. What was she going to say?
There were times his methods could be a little strange. Like the time he told her to pretend to be a prostitute.
I said, look, imagine you're a hooker. You've been there, you've done that, and you are fine. So go and strut your stuff. Sounds funny and silly now, but...
Silly, it sounds scandalous. You told her to imagine that she's a hooker.
It's to imagine you've been at the bottom and you have come out of the gutter and you are fine. And if this wasn't national television, I'd use a couple of other words now to, to say...
Did you use them with her?
Yeah.
We did all the work, and wow, you came off, and that got you through. Biggest, nightmare you've ever been through.
And she delivered the speech, and she felt very confident. I was sort of in her eye line right down the back. And afterwards, as she went back, I walked back, because it was very near Kensington Palace where she gave it. She went back in the big limo. But she stopped the limo, opened the door, kicked her